You have to, you know what I'm saying, have a voice. You have to be the voice. You have to be the voice that speaks up, because collectively, when we come together, we can really make laws change. We can really make change in our communities. So I want to thank you all for being on this call. It's a pleasure to do these meetings. Before I get into introductions and everything, I am working on bringing CSAC West back in September. So we'll have one more month of just completely Zoom calls, but then in September, I believe we should be ready to have physical meetings, which will be lunch, which will be congregating, networking, and just the ability to come together. It is still gonna have to be on Friday though. So if you have the time, going into September, put that on your calendar that we will be going back to Above and Beyond. I will be talking to Dan pretty soon, but I want to make sure that I have the approval from my CEO, Morris Reed, here at Westside Health Authority. And then I also have the approval from IDOC with the things that I'm working on, because one of the things I wanted to make sure happened first was that I was going back into the prison to do what I am mandated to do, what I was hired to do, was to be impactful for these men, right? So that hasn't happened yet, but it's in the midst of happening, okay? And when that happens, that will be a greater day. But for now, I have some other news that I want to talk about. Ms. Edwards, you had your hand up. You got a question?
I do. Good morning or afternoon. I wanted to know, will it be a hybrid model when you start going back in person?
Right, so we will have both Zoom and we will have physical. So you'll have the option of being there physically, or you can come Zoom. But I'm telling you, like, most of you haven't been to a physical meeting. A lot of people that were going to the physical meetings, this was, maybe almost a year now. Physical meetings are much better because the food that is, most people come for the food, right? They come to connect, but they are coming for the food. Let's be honest. Most of y'all coming for the food, right? We ain't gonna play no games. Y'all love Chef Monique's food, right? Everybody loves her food, right? But you also come for the resources, you come for the information, and you come to network, because these are great people doing great work, and I salute everybody on the call. But if you still are skeptical, maybe you're not vaccinated, or maybe you don't have the capacity to come out at that time, we'll still have that Zoom instrument in place, right? So I was supposed to invite Octavio Campos, and I didn't. And so he is with Above and Beyond. I do see Mr. Diggs on the call, but I wanted to kind of break down, does anyone know how to unmute the phone when you want to speak? I actually don't, but if you can help, Ms.
Asterisk 6, I think it's *6.
Yeah, I was gonna say put it in the chat, but
oh, sorry,
*6 is fine. Did you have a question? You just want to test?
Just wanted to test.
Okay, all right. So Above and Beyond is our place of base. This is where we would have these meetings at. We have the privilege of being in this lovely hall that they have. And the atmosphere there at Above and Beyond is very extreme. I've seen so many lives change since I walked into those doors. One of the first places that I spoke at was at Above and Beyond back in October of 2018. It was like my first week on the job, and Mickey Hill was like, "Joseph, do you want to speak?" And I'm like, in my mind, I'm like, "No, I just started working here, dude." But that's what you have to do, right? Take that fear out. And I'm speaking to a bunch of people, and one of the individuals is actually on this call, Mr. Stephen Diggs. And I can, to a credit to him and so many other people and relationships that I've built, I mean, it's a very community-driven place. They have yoga, they have all of these different, like acupuncture. They have all these different methods of healing, and you choose what you want to do, right? You choose where you want to take it. Stephen, if you could kind of break down a couple of little things and give them the address. And then also before he talks, you can always go over there for a free visit. You know, all you have to do is walk through the door. They will put you through all of the, the testing or whatever. I don't think you even have to do that anymore, but if you do, you'll walk through the door and they will take you on a tour throughout the whole facility. It's a great place. And I can't wait for us to get back in there because seeing each other face to face is going to be great. But Stephen, if you can, just kind of talk about some of the programs at Above and Beyond, please.
Hello. Thank you again, Joseph. My name is Stephen Diggs. I am an employee at Above and Beyond. I am a certified drug and alcohol counselor now. I'm also a certified support recovery specialist. Above and Beyond is the alcohol and substance abuse outpatient center where we do outpatient for the homeless, transformation, judge, court mandated, people walking off the street, a whole slew of things that people can come in for help. What we offer 30 different groups throughout the week. We'll come in for intake. The intake process is 2 hours. We prefer you come early at 9 o'clock. When you come in, you will get your temperature taken and stuff like that. Once you get your groups, you will either get between 25 and 75 hours of outpatient treatment. And once you finish that, you will graduate and have a big graduation. We have 30 different groups, as Joseph said. We have acupuncture, we have learning to love yourself, we have AA, smart recovery, which is something like harm reduction. We also have yoga, mindless relapse, your brain is on drugs. We have Move, which is an exercise class that's taught by the ninja from American Ninja on Channel 5, Marcelino. We also have our trauma. We have women's trauma. We have trauma. We have a whole slew of stuff. So we have 30 different groups. And like Joseph said, you are able to pick your own groups that's getting around your recovery and what you're trying to recover from. You can come in and take a tour at any given time of this amazing place. Thank you.
Thank you. Let me get Mr. Hart in here. We do not start any meeting at Westside Health Authority without prayer. So I will give us some real quick. I thank everybody in this room. I thank us for coming together, congregating. I ask you to continue to bless the people on this call and those who may watch this and view this later. The work that is being done is a continued process. It's an everyday fight. Please give us the strength and the will to continue to do what you have made and created us here to do. Amen. Right. So, introductions. My name is Joseph Green. I am the Reentry Outreach Coordinator, CSAC Westside Health Authority. I will pass it to Maddie. You will introduce yourself and you can either pass it to someone else or I will pick someone.
Hi, thank you so much for having me today. My name's Maddie. I'm from the Inside Out Network. I'm a program manager for the state of Illinois. So yeah, I just work on making connections there, but I'll pass it to Paula.
Thank you, Maddie. I'm Paula Wolf for the Illinois Justice Project, and I'm interested in how the Inside Out program is working. Delighted to get the invitation. Thank you to Mr. Green and to John McLeese for spreading the word. And I will pass it to Ricky.
Hi, everybody. My name is Ricky Holder. I'm an intern with the Illinois Justice Project. I, too, am very excited to learn all about the work that y'all do and the work that's done by folks in the coalition. I'm a third-year student at the University of Chicago studying public policy, so this is an issue that's very near and dear to me. But I'll pass it to Jerome. I think you're on mute.
Good afternoon, everyone.
My name is Jerome Williams. I'm the reentry coordinator for CSAC North and Howard area. I
John,
pass it.
go ahead,
John.
John.
I pass it to John.
That may be me. Hi, I'm John McLeese. Very happy to be here and having been introduced to CSAC a while ago. Thanks to Paula for her leadership and to Evan for his leadership and Maddie for being one of the great new resources for the Inside Out Network. I will pass it to Richard Hart.
Good afternoon, everyone. Richard Hart, Salvation Army Program Director, and always a pleasure to be a part of this group. I'm a long-time participant. I'm going to pass this on to Maria Moon.
Sorry, I have some technical difficulties going on today. Hi, everybody. I am Maria Moon, and I am the now Senior Housing Justice Organizer with Chicago Area Fair Housing Alliance. And I am a returning citizen who did almost 13 years incarcerated. And this is one of my favorite meetings, even without the food. And now I'll pass it on to, let me scroll through this phone and see who else on the second page. I'll pass it to Evan.
Hi, I'm Evan Freund. I'm a board member of the Inside Out Network and also a board member of the Community Counseling Centers of Chicago, which is in the process of implementing an emergency mobile response system for behavioral care on the West Side. And I'll pass it on to Eddie Clay. Well, if Eddie is not there, I'll pass it to Melissa Odell.
Everyone, I'm Melissa Odell. I'm the Executive Director of Defy Ventures, the Illinois chapter. And our program focuses on providing pathways to financial independence for people who are currently informally incarcerated. Does Eddie want to go now? I don't know if he's back.
Yes, I would appreciate it. My name is Eddie Clay. I'm with the Westside Ministers Coalition, and I'm pleased to be here. Did you hear me?
Yes, we did.
Okay, thanks.
Yes, we did.
I would like to pass it to Miss Loretta Turner.
I don't see a Loretta Turner. Ooh. Miss Turner? I don't see that name.
She hasn't probably arrived yet.
Okay.
She's with the Westside Ministers Coalition also.
Go ahead, Jones.
Hello, can anyone hear me?
Yes, we can.
Okay, great. I was having trouble with my phone. My name is Jones. I'm the CEO of Inmates for Change. We provide reentry services for individuals returning home from incarceration and to those who are in the community with felony convictions who are fighting the challenges of securing gainful employment, independent housing, and just trying to find wraparound services and resources that are in their community area. It's a pleasure to be on the call. I've been away for a while, but not like I've been away. I've been working somewhere else. So I see some familiar faces. Right. So thank you for allowing me to speak, and I'm gonna keep listening at this point.
Yes, sir. Can you put your information in the chat if you don't mind, your number and your email address so people can get in contact with you?
Will do.
All right, appreciate it.
Yes, sir.
We're gonna go with Ms. Morris.
Hi, everyone. My name is Tisa Morris. I'm Director of Community Engagement for the Sheriff's Office. Always happy to attend these meetings. Everyone is so warm and friendly. It's just really a nice start to the weekend. So thank you for allowing me to be here. And I am going to pass it to Miss Keifel. I hope I'm pronouncing your name correctly.
Yes, you are. Hi, my name is Bethel. I am an intern at the Illinois Justice Project. I apologize for jumping in a little late here, just arrived. So I apologize for that, but I am also a graduate student at the University of Chicago studying social work. So I'm happy to listen in on what you all will be discussing.
Glad to have you here. We record it, so you can always go back. I was gonna say this before the next person speaks up. If you've never been to this meeting before and you would like to be added to the mailing list, I'm gonna put my email address in the chat and just send me an email or shoot me a call and I will add you, okay? Because I know a lot of you, this may be your first time, maybe you're here for a certain thing, but if you know the email blast that I send out, I pretty much make sure that if you have something going on, it goes out, right? If you have a program, if you have something, announcement, it goes out, right? And that keeps everybody in the know of what's going on, all right? And that's how we keep communicating with each other. I also put it out on our Facebook page as well. Brett, you can go next.
Hello, everybody. My name is Brett Kuby, and I am the recruiter for CARA, currently CARA Collective, formerly the CARA program. We're all very familiar with name rebrandings here in the nonprofit world, I'm sure. So that's our most recent. But thank you for the great invitation. It's always, as Joseph was saying at the beginning, more than just the food. It's great to just be, kind of immersed with other people who are in the same thought process as you and who are have that same worldview. So always happy to be here.
All right. Ms. Krepp, Krista Krepp, who I met yesterday at the CSAC North call.
Hi, thank you so much for having me and sharing space with me, everyone. My name is Krista, and I'm the founder and CEO of Courageous Convictions. We're the new kids on the block as far as re-entry services. We aspire to provide supplemental services to people seeking employment, specifically by empowering them to be their own bosses. So we actually have an upcoming workshop either it's going to be at the end of August or September, where we are partnered with a tech firm to put on a workshop teaching people to make their own apps. And then we actually are partnered with another nonprofit who would mentor them. But we're going to put on a series of workshops like this, and so happy to be here, so welcome, so excited to be welcomed into the community. So thank you and have a great day.
Thank you. Ms. Reynolds.
Hi, I'm Lori Jo Reynolds. I am the coordinator of the Chicago 400 Alliance, the co-coordinator, there's a few of us, and I teach at UIC, and I am really thrilled to be here, and thank you so much, Joseph, and everyone else.
All right. Mr. Chisholm.
Good afternoon, everybody. My name is Tim Chisholm. I'm a proud president of the Chicago 400. It's an honor to be here, and I'm looking to share information about the Chicago 400 and my story. Thanks for having me.
All right. Good to see you here, brother. All right. Ms. Perkins.
Hello. How's everybody doing?
All right.
Okay, my name is Jeanette Perkins. I'm a task care coordinator. We work with youth who are involved in the justice system. I am
I thought you were saying something else and then it went off. Miss Edwards, I ain't forget about you, Mr. Beasley.
Oh, I can pass it to Mr. Beasley then. That's good.
What's wrong with you?
No, nothing wrong with me. I'm gonna go and then I have to pass it to somebody, right?
Yeah, there you go.
That's gonna be him. Just so prepare you. Well, my name is Elise Edwards, and I am a community organizer in the West Humboldt Park, West Garfield Park area. And I am aspiring to have a transitional home for those ladies that are exiting out of prison. So very instrumental for me to have this meeting to help me, and I will pass it to Toy.
Hello. I do apologize. This is Perkins again. I was trying to echo, so I kind of cut it short. If it's okay, I'd like to continue. I'm a task care coordinator. I work with the juvenile justice system. We work with incarcerated youth. We work with incarcerated youth involved in the juvenile justice system. So that was it.
All right. We heard you the first time, but then you got cut off on that little last sentence.
I know I keep hearing the echo, so thank you.
I muted it.
Oh,
Mr. Beasley.
Hello, everybody. My name is Toy Beasley. I'm with TAS. I'm the reentry support coordinator statewide. Everybody know what TAS does. We're a referral source. We actually work with people in the community. Maybe some of you agencies is out there now, but my primary focus is to connect with the community about helping starting support groups called Winter Circle. Like Joseph said at the beginning, support groups are so important because these support groups, these men and women empower each other. So when you get men and women that can empower each other and talk about some of those life struggles, whether it's trauma that went on incarceration, trauma that went on before incarceration, to me, that's the most important piece in the reentry is them having a safe place to talk about their most life struggles or the things they go to. Sometimes our men will get out of prison, they get out of jail, they get a job, they get an apartment, they get to feeling good about themselves, and this gets in trouble. So what a Winter Circle does is provide that space for them to come and talk about some of those life struggles. So if you're interested in starting a Winter Circle in your community, I'll put my information in the chat. You're welcome to call me. I will come into your community, whether you're in the agency or in a community. I come in and talk to you about it and help start one in your community. So thank you. Thank you, Joseph, for having me. I love being part of this meeting. I know I've been gone for a couple months, but it's good to be back.
You good. We always, the good thing is that you ain't been at the meeting, but we bump into each other. We was just at Cook County the weekend before last. Out there
And
with,
I think a couple weekends before that at the resource fair.
Exactly.
So, yeah.
So we all see each other, and that's a good thing that we all connected. You don't necessarily have to be at every meeting. Like I said, these meetings are recorded, so you can always go back and check them out later. That's why it's important for you to be on the email blast. Mr. Contos, Peter, you have the floor.
Thank you, Joseph. Good afternoon, everybody. Happy Friday. Hope everybody's doing well today. My name is Peter Contos. I'm with the Cannabis Equity Illinois Coalition. We're a nonprofit formed in 2019 in Chicago, dedicated to ensuring that the legalization of cannabis in Illinois is focused on repairing and reinvesting in the communities most impacted by the war on drugs. I think we'll be speaking a little bit later today. We have a resource fair happening tomorrow in Homeland Square. Really excited for Joseph and the Westside Health Authority team to be there. We got a ton of great resources, so I'll pause now, but excited to be on the call. Appreciate y'all and all the work you do.
Yeah. So I think I got every single person except for these numbers, right? So if you haven't spoken, please introduce yourself, because we want to know who's on the call and maybe how we can connect.
Hello.
Hey.
Hey, this is Dr. Sharon Latiker from the Cook County Sheriff's Office. Just finished up a meeting. I was here so I could be a part of this group. And thank you so much, Joseph, for all that you're doing and the resources and how you have kept us connected even throughout the pandemic. So I do the reentry services for the Mental Health Transition Center, and actually just had Mary Camper from Habilitator Systems Inc., who was here talking to our detainees, as well as the Safer Foundation. So if you know, or if you would like to come into the jail and speak to the detainees about the services that you provide, please let me know, because we need you. Thank you so much.
You might as well already sign me up. We can talk about that.
I got you, Joseph. Joseph, I just looked at my calendar and I'm gonna call you for September the 10th. I got you.
Hey, Ms.
And anybody
Laniker.
else- Yes.
Ms.
Yes.
Laniker. Ms. Laniker. Yes, Ms.
Yes.
Laniker. This is Jerome from CSAC North.
Hey, Jerome, how are you? We can't have a family reunion on this page, but give me a call.
I know, right? So you're gonna be inviting us back in, right?
Yes, the county has just opened up, so we can have guests. Today was the first day that we actually had in person people to come in and talk about the resources that's available in the community. So if anybody is available to come in and talk at Cook County Jail, please give me a call. Joseph, is it okay
And
if
I
I
still
give
got
my
my
number
badge.
out?
Yeah, of course, yeah.
Okay,
Go ahead.
my phone number here is 312-350-5299. And my name is Dr. Sharon Latiker. And we thank you so much. We do this every Friday, where we have various organizations to come in and talk about the resources that's available. Because my philosophy is, if we educate them on the inside, they're more than likely not to reoffend once they get on the outside. So I
Yes,
need your
ma'am.
help. I need to pour these resources into these guys. So thank you all so much. And thank you, Joseph. And God
Yes,
bless
ma'am.
everyone.
Thank you. Is there anybody else on the call that wasn't able to introduce themselves so we can move on? Let us know who you are so we can welcome you. All right, so I want to keep this part brief so we can get to our guest speakers. I don't want to hold you for a whole 2 hours, right? But it's important that I talk about the meeting that took place last Friday. So we were able to connect with Director Jeffries and a lot of grassroots organizations on the West Side to really connect and find out what the future of the Illinois Department of Corrections is going to look like. How are they going to implement certain things so that we can, make our job easier, but also allow us to connect with them before they get out. Reentry has to start before they get out. The reunification has to start before they get out, right? It has to start while they're in the prison. So last month, we were able to connect with the Congressman Daddy Davis, and we created what's been on his 10th anniversary, the Fatherhood in the Neighborhood edition. We would usually go into one correctional facility, which would be Sheridan Correctional Facility. This year, we were able to connect with 10 different correctional facilities. And it was a very impactful event. It was on Zoom, but to be able to talk to almost 100 men from 10 different correctional facilities at one time, to be able to talk to people like Benny Lee, Charles Perry, George Salter, and even myself to even be able to add something to the mix, being the youngest person in the room. Very impactful, because there's expectations for when these men come home on what they have to deal with their community, as I said before, and how they're gonna move. Do you want a job? Do you wanna learn a skill? Do you wanna become an entrepreneur? What is gonna be your purpose when you come out? And our ladies as well. What is gonna be the purpose for our women when they come home, right? We don't want them to fall back into the trap. So we wanna encourage them. As she said, Ms. Latiker just said, we want to encourage them while they're inside with these resources, with this information. So real quick, they have a number of different things that are going on. I just want to go over some of them. One of the reasons why we're here, because the Inside Out Network is part of that program with the Illinois Department of Corrections, allowing them to connect with you while they're still on the inside. Now, it's not in every single correctional facility, but they're hoping by the end of this year, middle of next year, that this is going to touch base everywhere, right? IDs, social security cards, SNAP benefits, They're hoping to have all of these things implemented before they get out, right? So they're starting it in certain correctional facilities. I can't really indulge the names, but eventually by the middle of next year, this will be something everywhere. So this will help alleviate some of that, because everybody here doesn't do that. We do it at Westside Health Authority. We're able to get them their ID, but nobody's able to get them their social security card, right? That is something that they have to go through the process of when they get out, which they'll have to have their birth certificate, right? So to have those things, before they get out, it's extremely, it's extremely beneficial to them, right? To have those documents when they walk out of the prison. You don't know how stressful it is, how many stories that a lot of you, we hear these stories of men and women getting out and they can't get the basic things, especially this past year with COVID. You couldn't even go to the Secretary of State. Everything was shut down. So imagine you got so much positive energy. You got all these resources you've been building up all these years. You get all this information, and when you get out, you restricted. You can't do nothing. You can be defeated by those types of things. We have to look at that. So I do applaud Director Jeffries and his staff. I want to say there was a lot of different people there. But I know Jennifer Packrack is one of the main people that pretty much is implementing a lot of this stuff, putting a lot of this stuff together. Since she has come into the Illinois Department of Corrections, she's really been putting all of this together and doing the work. I also have to give a kudos to Ms. Toya Sims, because she's the one that allowed us, along with Sharita Logan, to even have that audience to talk to them. And a lot of this grassroots is going to be up to all of us on this call to come together and be able to give that information before they get out, right? That's why the inside-outside network is so important, to connect before they get out, so that they know once they get home, oh, I'm already going A, B, C, and D. Or I can get this already because I've already been talking to them for a number of months or whatever time while I've already been incarcerated. So, I talked about GEDs. I talked about entrepreneurship. I talked about job readiness programs, skill-based programs that we want the men and women to have access to. They have these programs, but does everybody really have access to it? This is why the Community Support Advisory Council is so important, for us to be able to voice our opinion and then take those ideas to IDOC and say, this is what we need. This is how we can be impactful. So I want people to start thinking about that, yeah, it's great for us to come together, but we can really change policy. We can really put demand, and we can really do something if we band and come together. All right. So I'm not going to get into a lot of these other things that was talked about, but I do want to reiterate that if we come together, our resources together, and say we can help this person, and not just write a piece of paper and just send them on their way, real referral connections, where I can call a Brett from Kara and say, hey, I got this client. Or I can call a Melissa Odell and say, hey, I got this individual who wants to be an entrepreneur. That is what real connecting is all about. I have this guy who just came home. He needs to come to above and beyond. I have this young lady. She wants to be in the CTA program. I'm going to send her to Safer Foundation. That is what we're going to have to start doing and connecting. And that is the responsibility of not only everybody on this call right now, but the people that are watching it later. That is what the Community Support Advisory Council is supposed to be about. So I want to encourage you to connect with the people on this call and to really look at it from a grassroots thing. It doesn't matter who's the biggest organization, the smallest organization. If you're doing the work and the people are being impacted by what you do in your organization, then you're making a change, even if it's just one person that you're making a change with. But I digress. So I want to introduce my first guest speaker from the Inside Out Network. As you heard, there are a lot of people from the network on the call. And It's a great program. This program has been around for a while, but it's really up and running. I've had the pleasure of not only working with John, but also meeting Mr. Nelson face to face, seeing and watching how this is developed. We use the Inside Out Network to really connect with people. And I hope that you are encouraged to join the network and connect as well. So I will not say her last name because I already forgot already, but I would like to give Maddie the floor. And if you need to share your screen or anything like that, I'll give you the necessary credentials.
Awesome. Thank you so much for having me, Joseph Green, and everybody who's in this meeting today. I really appreciate you guys' time. So yeah, my name's Maddie. I'm from the Inside Out Network. As I mentioned, I'm the program manager for Illinois. I was started as an intern with Inside Out Network when I was in graduate school. I just graduated my master's back in May in criminal justice. And in between my year of undergrad and grad school, I volunteered at a women's prison in Arizona, which is where I live. And I went there on Saturdays for about a little bit, like 8 months or so, until COVID kind of kicked off, and then they didn't let us. But anyways, that's kind of where I got my desire to really get involved with reentry. So a little bit of background about me, a little bit of background about ION. As Joseph was mentioning, we've been around for a while. We used to be known as Red Chicago, and it was a paper-based system that our executive director, Fred, had developed during his time involved with prison ministry. Although this kind of kept growing and growing, and they had to keep printing more copies, and it got very cumbersome. So he developed ION, which is the online dual-sided platform that kind of makes us the first of its kind. So as Joseph mentioned as well, we do work with the Illinois Department of Corrections to get the returning citizens enrolled before they get released. That's kind of a way that we, can help get them signed up while they're still incarcerated. And we're doing very similar things in Arizona as well with the Department of Corrections. So yeah, that's kind of a background where we're at right now. Today, I kind of wanted to go through a demo and show you guys how the platform works, how it looks for the returning citizens, as well as how it works for the service providers. So that way you can get people, involved on both ends of the platform. As I mentioned, it is dual-sided and it is interactive. So everybody makes custom profiles to specifically fit their needs and what they need help with. So with that, if it's okay, I'm going to go ahead and share my screen and kind of go into some demonstrations so you guys can see a little bit about what we do. So let me see. Okay, so please also, I cannot see you guys as I'm doing this, so feel free to interrupt me if you have any questions or anything along the way. So the screen hopefully is yellow for everybody. This is our home screen. I just want to show you kind of quickly what it looks like for people to register. So as a returning citizen, that's the side we're going to start on. This is what their registration form looks like. So in the Illinois Department of Corrections, it's actually a paper-based system. So correctional officers will give a paper form of this document to the returning citizens. They will then fill it out accordingly, and it gets sent to a team of our volunteers, and then it gets inputted into our system. So that's the way they're still doing it right now, but you can see this is how they are able to customize their profile. So the biggest things, this is some basic information. The biggest things are where they're going to be released, because they will be matched with provider based on their need and also location. And then there are some questions about background and that kind of thing. These are optional. We just recommend that they do fill them out if they want to kind of save themselves some frustration, trying to find housing or things. If people have restrictions, it will just avoid any complication, but it's still optional. The biggest piece, though, is the different categories that they're able to select that they may need help with. So, some people may need help with shelters and housing and healthcare and education. Others may need help with other things. They can select, as many or as few as they think that they will need help with upon release. So these 9 categories are also offered to our service providers. They select the ones that they offer, and then the 2 will match based on geographic location as well as need. So this is, and you can see that it's pretty short. So that's all it is. We don't want it to be too cumbersome, but we also want it to still be personalized enough. So that's what the registration form looks like. I'm going to walk you guys through just a little demo of what the experience is like once they log in. So right now, their profiles are set to go active as soon as they get released. However, our service providers do have access to who will be released 120 days or so in advance. So they are able to proactively reach out to people who are still, who are going to be released within a short period of time. But this is what it looks like for the returning citizen once they have access. So they can go to their profile. This is where they can make any changes needed to their profile that they desire. So as their needs change, they're able to change things accordingly. And then this is Joe Newman. He's just a demo kind of returning citizen. But the biggest thing that they also like to do on our site, of course, is search for providers. So they're able to search by category. These are the categories that that you saw on the sign-in page, but they're still able to search through other categories, even if they didn't check them. It just won't be a direct match for them, but they can still look around. So let's say that somebody needs help for shelters and housing. It will take them to this. Does somebody have a question?
No, you good. Somebody just came in. You good.
Okay. So this is where you can, so like shelters and housing, for example, you can kind of change, you can play with the distance, so they can do 5 miles up to 100 miles. The default is 15. The location will be based on the address that they put that they will be released to. So that's kind of just what it's set, but they can kind of alter that how they see fit. And then different resources in that area that say that they offer shelters and housing will come up. You can see they have the map to kind of help and see location, and then they can click the different organizations to learn more about them. So for example, if they think Grasmere Place sounds interesting to them, they can click it. This is the services based on the different categories that I mentioned. This is where they're listed if they offer that service. They can go to the website. There's a phone number. They can message. I'll touch a little bit more on this, but they can message through the platform directly to the provider. And then they also have the ability to favorite. So you can see that there's some more information. They mention if there's any restrictions, the different hours that they offer, that kind of thing. And then you can see this heart right now is filled in. If it's unchecked, that just means it's, regular. And then if they want it to favorite it, like, okay, this place sounds interesting to me, they can go ahead and fill that in, and that will come up on a separate list back on the dashboard. So they can do this for all of the categories, for any of the services that they need. So you can see where it says Save Service Providers, that's where all the favorites go. So you can see that's one we were just looking at, Grasmere Place, and they can also go navigate back from that favorites tab. So that's kind of like the main feature that they will use. Like I said, the big thing that is offered is messaging back and forth. So service providers can reach out to returning citizens can reach out to providers, and all of that can be done through the platform. So if Joe Newman wanted to message, say, a demo service provider, you can see it will start on Monday, and please bring your friend. He said, great, thank you, can't wait to be there. Here, also said something else. Let's see. Thank you for a great meeting. And then he can just send the message, and it will go directly to the provider, which you will see when we enter the other platform. So that's kind of a unique feature. And then they can also keep track of all the different messages they're having with different providers. So, if the provider tells them to bring a certain document or something, that is helpful to have saved in messages. They can also do that by going to My Notes. So this is a section of the platform where they can take different notes about different things. Remember to bring your ID, reminding to call somebody or email somebody, reminding, transportation times, those types of things. They can just type in this text box, click Add Note, and it will add to the side. They can also edit these at any time as well. So that's another feature. If they get stuck on the site, they can go to Frequently Asked Questions and navigate around this tab. You can see there's some different categories if they need help. Another way that if they get help navigating ION is they can go to contact us. And then here, if they're already logged in, they can just submit questions or comments or concerns that they may have with the platform itself. And then we get that directly, so we're able to respond and assist them. If they, are having difficulty logging in or that kind of thing, they are also able to access this Contact Us tab without having been logged in. So they can just put their name, a way that we can get a hold of them, and we can help them recover their password or those types of things.
Let me ask you a question real quick.
Yeah.
How do you know how many times an inmate has the option of checking those messages, or is it like once a week, or is it like a couple times a month? Do you know exactly how many times they're allowed?
While they're still incarcerated?
Yes.
So the Illinois Department of Corrections, they do, as of right now, not letting them have like really hands-on time on the platform. That's why they're still even having them do the paper registration forms.
Okay.
So our hope is that they will, because like in Arizona, we are implementing that, and about at least 30 days out, let's say, they're able to get in touch with people and that kind of thing. So we're working on something similar in Illinois, but there's just a lot of red tape as far as getting them kind of online access, so to speak, while they're incarcerated. We are hoping that maybe they can work with the officers as part of their release plan and start contacting these providers ahead of time. We do obviously encourage providers to reach out to them as well, but then they get out with a bunch of messages. So if that's all kind of in process. Right now, like I said, they are pretty restricted to what they are allowing them to use the platform for. But we're working on it. we are in the process. So hopefully soon we'll have a plan of how often maybe they're allowed to utilize it and that kind of thing. So,
okay.
And then, so let's see. Another thing they can do is they can search providers by name. So if they're referred, from a friend or family member or that kind of thing, they're able to just type in the provider's name directly. So we can go, so if someone told Joe Newman about Safer Foundation, they're able to go and search and their profiles come up. So those are the biggest pieces of the Returning Citizen platform. Another thing to note is that, of course, people are getting enrolled while they're incarcerated, and their profiles go active as soon as they're released. And the providers, like I said, they get notified of them that they're going to be released about 120 days in advance. But you can also, anybody can sign up no matter how long they've been out or anything like that. So if someone's been out 10 years and they need assistance, they're more than welcome to sign up on our platform. If they've been out 2 weeks and they're like, oh, I forgot to sign up for that before I left, they're still able to sign up. So that's just something we like to know. Same thing if someone has never been incarcerated but they need help, they're on probation or parole, probation or different community supervisions or those types of things, they're also able to sign up on the platform. So before I navigate to the service provider side, does anybody else have any questions? All right.
Maddie? Oh,
yes.
I do have a question. So as the folks inside are making profiles, are the counselors or anyone else kind of letting them know about the different service providers, to just like educate them like beyond what they might initially say? Like, so if somebody is like, yeah, I have an interest in, employment resources, and then there might be, a few kind of like providers that might be more known to them in their area, but like, are the counselors also doing some advocacy to like have them expand and look beyond just like what they might initially think? Like, or is this only solely like based on their knowledge and their understanding of what's available?
So sorry, I'm trying to understand the question. So do you mean, do they have help, someone explaining like the providers that are on the platform to them?
Yeah, like explaining a little bit more beyond just what might be like written, like there's like a small paragraph of what the provider does. So I'm just wondering if like they're trying to also say, hey, you might want to also consider this provider, or this one does something similar. Maybe they can work together to actually get you what you need as you come home. Like, I'm just wondering what's more like what they're reading versus what kind of like advocacy and like sort of case management is associated.
Yeah, so there are case management specialists, from what I believe, in the Illinois Department of Corrections that kind of do help with that sort of thing. So the case management specialists as well as parole, they're all familiar with our platform. And a lot of them are helping the returning citizens navigate it. So I'm not exactly sure, what those interactions entail, but we do know that, we're trying to educate as many different like departments and things as we can so I don't know, like I said, if they have further knowledge about the service providers and they want to provide that to the returning citizen, then we know that they are helping them navigate the platform, but we just don't know exactly what that entails. So that's kind of why we just encourage, really reaching out and connecting, whether that's the messaging. So if you have specific questions about that various provider, because the biggest thing about that our platform focuses on is just like reducing the feelings of that invisibility, that isolation. So the more people we can get connected, the better. So, hopefully if they reach out to a provider and that provider might know somebody who can help them better, they all kind of connect and work together. But yeah, as far as the specialists, the community like support specialists that help them or parole that's helping them, we don't really know what those entail. We just know that they are aware of the platform. They do encourage the returning citizens to use it. So they do try and help them navigate it the best that they can.
Let me ask you another question.
The reason why I raised that is just because I think that in my experience on the platform, we're not really getting any inbound messages, so there's no one to really talk to. So I'm just trying to figure out like how can we increase our visibility if people are not necessarily finding us on their own. Like, is there additional material we can provide to aid in the utilization? So then it would be less dependent on the specialist, and then it would be more, as you indicate, direct communication. And that can be a question we can take offline. I just wanted to raise that.
Okay, awesome. Yeah, thank you. Yeah, I definitely, like I said, it's challenging to become visible and stand out as a different provider and that kind of thing. So I'm more than happy to talk with you more about that, maybe specifically about the services you guys offer and kind of what we could do to help with that. Thank you. Joseph, did you have a question?
Yeah, so real quick. So let's say like what Melissa was saying, you don't have anybody in your, like you have the account and you don't have anybody in that referral list. How can somebody actually go and do their own fishing? Like, can they go in and look at different individuals that don't necessarily reach out to them and do their own fishing?
Yes. So that on this here, I'll share my screen again. So so they have the power to search for. So under those search providers by category.
Okay.
When they click that, any category that they want to get help with. So like, go ahead, you can pick anyone you want. I'll do one. Do you have one that you're interested in?
Just do like churches and ministry. Let's just try that.
Okay, so churches and ministries. Yeah, no, you're good. So churches and ministries, this is, like I said, they can change the location to whatever they want. So they can look for up to 100 miles. They can keep it within the 15 or within 5. And then they're able to, all this they have access to. So these are the churches that come up when he's looking for church and ministry assistance.
I meant the reverse role. So I meant Melissa Odell has the 5 ventures, right? And she wants to send her information to people that maybe, use the network.
Oh, yes.
But they haven't necessarily reached out to her. Like, can she just reach out? Let's say I'm in prison and she can find me on the list and she can send her information to me even if I didn't reach out to her?
Yeah, absolutely. I'm going to go through the service provider side now as well. Okay. So I'm going to show you some additional things that providers can do that returning citizens can't. So yeah, I just wanted to make sure we didn't have any questions about that piece. But yes, we can get into, they can do actually a couple different things as a provider to do that. So. Okay,
I'm sorry. Go ahead.
Oh, no, you're good. No, please, I love the questions. So I'm more than happy to share that. But okay, yes, I will, with that, it's a good kind of segue. I'll get into the service provider half. So let's see, I'm going to log out. I'll share my screen again. So as a service provider, it looks similar to a returning citizen platform, but there are a couple different things that you can do. So just briefly, for those who want to register as a provider, again, you can make it pretty customized, the different business hours, different things you offer, that kind of thing. Again, the services that you're saying that you can offer as well. Your description, if you want to put a picture or anything like that, you're welcome to. We just like to touch on this again. We make it kind of a little bit, you can make it personalized, but still short enough that you're not spending more than, say, 10 minutes or so completing it. So we try to make it easy, but that's what the service provider registration looks like. So if I were to sign in as a provider, this is what the service provider dashboard looks like. So again, if they want to make changes to their profile, hours or something change, they can make changes to their profile at any point in time just by clicking the My Provider Profile tab. This is kind of what Joseph was asking. So we have My Returning Citizen Profiles. So if this is selected, sorry, it's loading, but this will tell the provider those who are going to be released either are already released or will be released within 120 days, within 100 miles of the provider, and if they match on the based on category. So this is the client list. To answer your question, they can message anybody, any of these clients. So even so, you can see, like, based on category, like I said, and on location, these are the people who match with them and what they're offering. They can even send group messages. So if you click the little bubbles on the left and you want to send a group message, you can select as up to 20 at a time and then hit group message, and you can send whatever you would like to them. Like, if you have a group meeting or support group or something like that coming up. And then if you click on them individually, this just gives more information about that individual and what they're looking for, and where they're located and that kind of thing, and also when they will be released. So that's that piece. And then if the service provider does want any of this data for themselves, they're able to export it. Instead of us trying to figure out, all the different things that different providers want to keep track of, we just allow you to export the data into an Excel document, and then you can keep track of things however you best see fit. So going back to the dashboard, new and upcoming releases is very similar. The difference is this one doesn't include those who are already released, right? So if a provider signs up, there's going to be a number of returning citizens that have already been released who are still using the platform. That's under My Returning Citizens. And then new and upcoming are those who are going to be coming, out either today or within 120 days from this point in time. So that's the biggest difference between those two, but it'll be a very similar list. You can just see it kind of has like a little number on the right here that kind of gives you an idea of, kind of like an alert message sort of thing. And same thing with the messages. So we're talking about messaging. If the provider sends messages, or if returning citizens message them, they will come up here on the right. You can see we had the conversation going with Joe Newman. He had, he had said, thank you for a great meeting. I look forward to the next one. Thank you so much for coming. It was great meeting you. And then we can send that back to Joe Newman. And again, they can do that with all of the returning citizens that they're in contact with. They can also search other providers by name and that kind of thing, which will bring me to the part of this platform that's also unique to service providers, which is called the Hub. So this is a portion of the platform that is exclusive to providers. Returning citizens do not have access to it. As you can see kind of down here on the left, it reminds you of that. But this is just kind of like a news feed that offers different events that are going on that other providers may find helpful. It's also a place where providers can connect with one another about the different services. So,
No, I'm still on.
does anyone have a question?
Farrell just cut in. He just he called us because he's out that way. He's going to stop at Hal's house.
Okay, so
but Hal wasn't answering his phone.
So the part of the Hub is, this is kind of like I was saying, like a news feed. They can post about different events, but they can also form groups and talk with one another privately, or just if say a service provider offers housing to men, and a female has reached out to them that needs assistance, they're able to contact providers that they may know of who offer housing to females, that kind of thing. So the Hub is just a place for the providers to connect privately. They can also take notes, very similar to the returning citizen side, of different things that they need reminders of as well. And then same thing, they're able to contact us through the platform going up here and then to the contact us tab. So those are some of the biggest pieces of the service provider platform. I don't know, Joseph, did that help answer your question some? I don't know if he's still with us. I'm not sure if he's on, but
yeah, I don't know what's going on.
I'm not sure.
There he is.
Maddie, I have a question.
Oh, no.
Yes.
So the list of the individuals that the service provider sees and can reach out to, whether they're just recently released or have been out for a while, is that limited to the individuals who have specified an area of service that they're interested in, that service provider offers? So that's
yes.
That's the list they see. Is that correct? The ones that of the people who actually gone in and taken the initiative to fill out their form and ask for that type of service in that area?
Yes. Just so that everyone's not overwhelmed, because otherwise, right, if we have thousands of returning citizens and the provider is getting notified of thousands of returning citizens, that can be very overwhelming. And half those returning citizens may not even need the services that they offer. So one way to kind of just limit that confusion is to match based on category. So yes, so those are matched. They're based on the within 100-mile range. That's like just the default, because more than 100 miles, they probably won't have access to them. And then also based on category. And then, of course, if they have been released or will be released within 120 days. So the big things, yeah, the geographic location and category. And then the categories match on both ends, right? So if the returning citizen has to pick the categories they need, and then the service provider picks the categories that they offer, and when the two align, they will be matched. There are several returning citizens who click all 9 categories, and then they will be notified of pretty much all providers, if that makes sense. So they can see all the providers if they want, then all providers will be notified of that individual, but that only happens if they select all of the categories. Does that help?
Yes, thank you.
Yes.
Maddie,
Yes.
excuse me, what is your title again?
I'm program manager for Illinois, with Inside Out Network. But that reminds me, while I'm doing this, I'm going to put my email in the chat right now. Please feel free to message me if you have any questions about anything at all. I'm more than happy to help. Here, I'll put my email and my phone number. So yes, please feel free to email me or give me a call if you do have any questions. I can also send out the links here. This makes it help a little bit. I think this is probably more service provider driven. So if anybody is a service provider themselves and wants to sign up with us, or knows of a provider that would like to sign up, I went ahead and sent the registration link. So that's the service provider registration link as well. And anybody is welcome to do that. They can sign up as a provider. As far as like cost associated goes, the first 365 days from the date they sign up is completely free. It's always free to returning citizens. It's never any cost to them. To providers, it is $100 subscription fee per year after the first initial year. So no one will be charged anything for the first 365 days they're on. After that, it's a $100 fee just for the service providers, just annually. That we kind of want to make sure that our platform is staying up to date. That we have people on the platform who are active and who want to help this population. So that's just a way for us to do that, as well as maintain our own costs. But so if anyone has questions about that, please feel free to let me know as well. But please, yes, take down my email and phone number, and you're welcome to hand that out however you see fit. Yes, Ricky, it looks like you have your hand held.
Yeah, absolutely. I had a quick question just about the system as a whole. How do you know that it's working? Like, what metrics do you all gather to ensure that the intention of the website is actually that folks are being served?
Yeah, so we're still in like a pilot phase. We just launched really the beginning of 2021, getting inmates enrolled kind of in masses and getting providers to connect with them. So we're still doing the phases, but our biggest mission is if we are able to see that returning citizens are connecting with more providers, then that's kind of a success for us because we're not offering the services to help them. Does that make sense? So we don't really track like recidivism data and that kind of thing. But our hope, right, is that if we increase connections, then our job is done. So we are still, kind of gathering all of that because we just really launched the beginning of 2021. But that's our goal. If we can just make more connections, if more people are getting access to more resources, then we will know that. But it is a difficult thing to measure, right? Because like I said, we're kind of not offering the services, so it's just interesting to navigate. But does that help?
Absolutely. Thank you so much.
Yeah, thank you. Does anybody else have any questions for me? I know it's a lot of information. Hopefully I didn't go too quickly, but I wanted it all to make sense.
Let me add that this particular system, Director Jeffries from Illinois Department of Corrections made it very clear that this is going to be one of many things that is going to be really going into the future. So as she said, it's in the pilot stage for certain parts, but this is going to be that wave going into the next couple of years. And all I say is if you have a year to try it, put your program on there and see what type of connections you can make. You can post flyers, you can put all types of information on there. I've done it for Westside Health Authority to connect with people. Now, you can also, as she stated, you can connect yourself, right? You can reach out. So I say use the 365 days, try it out. Check it once a week at the most, because you got to understand that the inmates aren't going to be on there every single week. They may have maybe twice a month to probably have access to it, depending on how many people are actually able to use the network. And like I said before, is it in every single prison correctional facility?
So it's supposed to be being implemented throughout the Illinois Department of Corrections as a whole. Yeah, we do see, so like I was mentioning, we get the phone from the facilities and we do see there's a massive discrepancy. Some, we have hundreds coming from and some we have 2 coming from. So there's something going on. So, but like all of that, like I said, we're really still in like the beginning phase. So, but yes, it should be being offered throughout because we have a memorandum of understanding with the Illinois Department of Corrections now that this is something they want to be implementing. So, but yeah, you were talking about like some future things. It is our hope, there's different, like in Arizona, there's different inmates can use tablets and that kind of thing. And our goal is to eventually be offered on those so they have some more freedom to use it as well. So there are some exciting things coming, but we're just at the beginning stage. And then there also was a questions, and I will answer these privately as well, but there are some questions about like if providers have already been signed up with us because we're just getting up and going. We didn't make the go live date for people if you already were registered with us until July 1st of this year. So if you've been registered, even if you've been registered for 6 months this year, you still have a year so you have until June 30th, 2022 before you have to start paying anything. Because we still want to give you that time because, we've had some growing pains and things. So just to clarify that as well, if you have been signed up with us, maybe you're not seeing a lot of action yet. Hopefully the more returning citizens we get enrolled, like some of the ones we enrolled, say in January, right? If they enrolled 120 days before release, they're all getting released now. So we're hoping that the platform is going to start becoming a lot more active. But obviously there's been some time of, okay, we had to have enough providers signed up to enroll returning citizens. And now that we're enrolling returning citizens, now there has to be enough time for them to get released and get comfortable using the platform and that kind of thing. So if you've been a provider with us, we appreciate you and your patience, and hopefully you will start getting some interaction soon. Does anybody else have any questions?
Sounds good.
Sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off too if you were in the middle. I know I went on a tangent a little bit.
You good. I wanted to make sure because like I said, some of you on the call were there, some of you weren't, but we, you know, talked to him directly. I mean, face to face, shook his hand, whatever you want to call it, but and ask direct questions. And this is part of that implementation for certain things that are going to be going forward for the Illinois Department of Corrections. You know, CSAC is for the returning citizen, for people that's locked up and people that are home. So this is an opportunity to just put your stuff on the network and see what happens. You know, some organizations, yeah, they're more well known. They've been around for a number of years. Some people have gone in and out of the prison and go back to the same places, right? And then, you know, word of mouth, it does talk. But eventually, people are going to be talking about things that you're doing and your organization is doing, and then that'll be word of mouth and it'll start to connect. But we also have to let people know. One thing that I do is that, you know, Westside Health Authority can't do everything, right? So I'm gonna connect who needs to be connected with who they need to be connected to. If you need housing and you're fighting for housing, I'm gonna connect you to Maria Moon, right? If you wanna be an entrepreneur, I'm gonna connect you to Melissa Odell or Michael Wade from Sunshine Enterprises. If you know, I'm gonna connect you with who you need to be connected with, because we can't help every single person that comes through the door. And that's what the Inside Outside Network is doing, is connecting you with them before they come home, right?
Yeah.
So you got a year. Let's just, you know, keep pushing towards it and see what happens, and then do some connecting. But we also have to be promoting it, but also promoting each other as well. And that's what it takes for us to impact the people, because that's what we do. This isn't about, hey, I got a, you know, a flag raised or whatever like that. It's about impacting the community and impacting the people who need these resources the most. So.
And I just want to say too, one thing that I was going to mention is some of the returning citizens too, they have, like, you know, trusted family or friends on the outside who are able to use the platform. And we do suggest that if there is somebody that you trust with your platform, you know, with that, your login information, you can give that to them before you get released. So, you know, if the Department of Corrections is not necessarily letting them use it a ton on the inside right now, but, you know, your mom is willing to help you, she can go on for you and connect with providers. We leave that up to the returning citizen, you know, in their personal situation, and up to their discretion of who they have in their life who's maybe an advocate for them. But, you know, sometimes family members and loved ones want to help too. They just also don't know what to do or where to start. So they can sign on using the returning citizen's login information and, you know, make those connections for them before they get released as well. So we know not everybody has that, but for those that do, that is an option for them as well. And hopefully we will move along with the Illinois Department of Corrections as well. Does anybody else have any questions?
All right. So I want to thank you for taking time out, explaining, breaking it down. Don't leave. Nobody leave, because what is about to take place right now is very important. I do want to give Mr. Paris Williams the floor. He wasn't able to introduce himself. He's from Cook County Sheriff's Department. If you had any announcements, sir, you do have the floor to introduce yourself. Just let us know what's going on. Mr. Williams. Okay, I'll come back. Maybe he may be away. So our next and final guest, plural. Like I said, I've been knowing Mr. Diggs for a long time. And I didn't realize that he was doing this work, but he was like, look, you need to get in contact with Ms. Reynolds. He's sending me emails. He's sending me messages about the Chicago 400, Chicago 400. What is the Chicago 400? What do they do? You know, how are they impacting the community? How are they impacting our returning citizens? Then I said, Ms. Reynolds, you got to meet Maria Moon, you know what I'm saying, from CAFA and all of this work, right? And then she telling me about Mr. Chisholm, and he's the president. So look, you all have the floor Mr. Stephen Diggs, Ms. Reynolds, and Mr. Chisholm from the Chicago 400. Let us know what's going on and how we can be a part of this. And I will give you the co-host. I didn't forget.
Good morning, Joseph. How are you doing?
All right.
My name is Stephen Diggs again. I am a member of the Chicago 400. I am the Sergeant at Arms. I am also an employee at Above and Beyond Recovery Center, who is in alliance with the Chicago 400. The Chicago 400 is an organization that deals with people that have housing management and restrictions on their lives. And I'm so glad that we are in this meeting so that we can kind of get some resources or some help for some people that have to suffer through this re-entry and trying to get housing and jobs, but because of a past crime, they're restricted from housing in certain areas, and they have to register weekly. If they come out homeless from the penitentiary, they can register weekly or they can register yearly. So our goal is to kind of cut down housing management. We have a bill on the tables, 3913, which we're asking for 250 feet reduction from the 500 feet restrictions. And we're asking to cut the weekly down for the homeless people to yearly, because we kind of think it is senseless that people have to take time out their lives from their jobs. I am also a member of Chicago 400. So I am a father, I am a peer support specialist, I am a certified joy counselor, and I'm fortunate enough to have a job. I'm fortunate enough to have stable housing and a stable job before a lot of people that's coming out of prison with housing management and restriction. They cannot get a job, they cannot get a job, or they cannot get housing because they have no stability. And I do believe that anybody that has stability in a job, I think they become better people. They can become productive members of society. But because of this big umbrella of you did this 20 years ago, you did this 10 years ago, your life is doomed. You're not allowed to get anything. And we're here just to ask for support from you guys, all these wonderful, amazing organizations that are here on this panel. We just seeking support to have the Chicago 400 kind of move forward, to help people become productive members of society. You know, we are the people, you know, everybody is somebody. Everybody has done something in their lives, and we're not saying that people are not being accountable or have not been accountable for some of the things that they have done or something that they were accused of. That is not going without saying that they have been accountable. So we're here just to ask for support. If you guys have any resources that you can kind of send to me or Lori Jo or Terrence to help us on this amazing journey to get people back into their normal life. And what is normal? Who knows? Thank you.
All right.
Lori Jo.
I think Terrence was next. Terrence was usually goes first because he's the president, but he lost his cell phone power during the meeting. Are you there, Terrence?
No.
Okay.
I don't think he in the call.
Oh, he must have dropped his call. So I'll go ahead, and then if anyone sees Terrence, please yell at me and I'll jump off and get Terrence back on, okay? Let me try screen sharing. Okay, that seemed to work. So, sorry, I had this section for Terrence up. Let me get over to where I am.
You can be Terrence today and just break it all down for us.
Okay, I'm gonna do that.
All right.
So the Chicago 400 Alliance is a partnership that, as Stephen has made clear, our goal is to challenge what we believe are truly the most damaging laws for formerly incarcerated people and formerly convicted people, which are the housing banishment laws and the public conviction registries. But they're the most ignored, and we just haven't been addressing them. So we really want to bring all of our friends and partners together to address them. And the Chicago 400 have led the way because they're experiencing homelessness from these laws. And so the Chicago 400, as Stephen said, are the Chicagoans listed on public conviction registries who are experiencing homelessness, who therefore have to register weekly. And they are the leaders of this campaign. And the premise of the work, is that our criminal justice policies to get safe communities, we should prevent victimization, support survivors, and hold people accountable for harm. But after punishment, people should be able to rebuild their lives. That's the premise of this group. And in fact, people with records should be supported in rebuilding their lives, not knocked down. That's what public safety is. So we're going to show some images during this campaign. And by the way, thank you to all the friends of the campaign who are on this call, because there's a lot of people already with us. But we're going to be looking at a couple of images that were drawn by the Chicago 400 and were shown at the Drawing Center Museum in New York last year. And these laws show how these drawings show how these laws sabotage reentry. And not only that, but they sabotage a person's long, positive, and productive life after conviction, which so many are living in spite of this, like Stephen, but why are we doing this to people? So I'm going to give a very short preview of what these laws are, but please invite us to a longer presentation because it's really, there's a lot to say about it. But public conviction registries are laws that require the police to collect personal data and photos from people simply because they have past criminal convictions, and then to put that information on the internet. And there's an entire police apparatus to collect all this data, and that's called registration. People have to show up at the police station annually or quarterly to give their address, their photo, their job, everything else to police. If you're homeless, you have to come 52 times a year, which is of course very difficult while you're experiencing the hardship of being homeless. And any mistake in keeping up with these administrative rules is of course a felony. And the maze of restrictions and reporting requirements is difficult, even if you're not weekly, even if you're yearly. You have to register in 3 different jurisdictions where you live, work, and go to school, many, if you leave your home for 72 hours, et cetera. So it's important for us to just back up for a second and rethink what are public conviction registries. It's a police project moving people by the tens of thousands to police stations and moving police by the tens of thousands into domestic spaces for address checks, which lead to a large number of new felonies for failure to register, failure to comply, et cetera. And that's not to say the police want to do this. Legislators passed the laws requiring police to do this, but it is a police project. So registries require people with past convictions, and that means free people, right? People who are free, to be forced into this ongoing adversarial repressive contact with police after their punishment for decades or for life, and mostly for life in Illinois. And this has become an engine of police abuse and reincarceration, and also a huge expansion of the carceral state. So legislators kind of sold this to the public as a form of public safety, but how is it one? In Illinois, some 47% of the population has an arrest or a conviction record. But then we just go on to list thousands of people on the internet sorted out by convictions. So Illinois has, a conviction registry for violent offenses against youth, murder, a gun registry, meth manufacturing, arson, and of course, everybody knows about the sex offense registry. We have alarming rates of people listed on registries in Illinois. 1 in every 212 men in our state is on the sex offense registry. For Black men, that number is 1 in 84. If you look at all the registries, 1 in 145 men are on the registry. For Black men, 1 in 42 men. So this is a really shocking thing to realize, that we've just kind of looked the other way and put tons of people on registries. Terrence and Stephen, if they're available, can talk more about, or if y'all have questions about what it looks like to register if you are homeless. It is very, very difficult. I am trying to look in the chat, but I don't see anything. So yell at me if Terrence.
No, he's the only way he's gonna be able to get back in is if I let him, and
okay,
that hasn't happened yet.
Okay. Well, our loss if we don't hear from Terrence. So here we are. One thing is clear about all this: gun violence, sexual violence, domestic violence, robbery, child abuse, substance abuse. Whatever social harm you think you're solving is not prevented by listing people with past convictions on the internet and then bringing them back to police the rest of their lives for these office work appointments that you then get felonies for. What does work? Everyone here knows this because we're all reentry people. Research on community safety is clear. People need to have a positive framework and a path in the future for themselves, in material terms and also in how people view themselves. This means housing and jobs, respect, strong ties to family and community, and recognition of worth from others. And all that these policies take away in a sweep. The other thing I wanted to tell you about quickly are residency restrictions. And this has become the first priority of our coalition because they cause such an acute crisis. These are discredited policies that permanently exclude people, very disproportionately Black men, from most housing for life. And so by barring people from nearly all housing, we are forcing hundreds of Chicagoans into homelessness. That's the Chicago 400, Terrence, Stephen, and many others. But also each year we keep usually some 12 to 1,400 people in prison past their release dates. We've been doing this for at least 12 years, if not more. Because you can't leave prison if you're homeless, and you can't get housing if you've been banished from all housing. And the amazing thing is we are forcing this even on people who have safe and welcome and stable homes to go to. Many people have those. They have moms, relatives, cousins, spouses, their own homes, whatever, that they can go to. But we have made our state laws have made their housing options a crime. So residency restrictions bar people from living 500 feet from around the property lines of like regularly spaced public institutions that are everywhere. Schools, playgrounds, daycares, parks aren't supposed to be, but they're enforced that way. So I'm just going to show you quickly what this looks like if you're barred from living if you put a 1.5 block radius around everything, you end up being banished from the neighborhood. This is Champaign-Urbana, just to show you another region. But when you banish people from all the neighborhoods, you end up with a blackout. So this is looking at a map of Chicago. So it shouldn't surprise you when you see this to find out that 1/5 of people on the registry in Chicago are homeless, and 80% of those who are homeless are Black men from the West and South sides. And worse yet, if somebody does find housing, which literally every person I know who's homeless has had housing in the past, including Terrence and Stephen, you can still be forced to move because your house can always become illegal because these zones are always in flux and police will just come tell you have 30 days to move. And I'm not going to get into it because I don't feel like I have time, but these laws are fully discredited laws. And that's why many states don't have them at all. And when Minnesota analyzed these laws in detail over 12 years, they found 0 cases in which they ever would have helped anybody, but lots of reasons why they cause a lot of damage and probably increase crime because they make so many people homeless and put people in crisis. And so even Kansas, which is not a progressive state by most accounts, it's a conservative state, has on their website why they don't have these very unproductive laws. It's probably clear, if you just think about it, but that lots of people around Illinois are being pushed out of housing all the time. And the people who can't withstand it are the more poor people. So this is actually affecting a huge number of people besides the Chicago 400. The Chicago 400 are homeless because of these laws. So I'm almost done here. So this, I hope you agree that the first laws we should abolish would be ones that are totally discredited, are so damaging, and produce this cycle of reincarceration and harm. Registry and housing banishment laws push people into poverty, homelessness, unemployment, stress, insecurity, and crisis. Yet these wonderful people are still our neighbors, they're still our family members, they're still our friends. So I don't believe Terrence has gotten on. I'm sure Stephen has stuff to add, so I'm gonna jump off, but I'll just show you that, I hope if you're not convinced or you want to be more convinced, you'll invite people back to a presentation. The Chicago 400 pointed out and made this beautiful 7-foot mural to show what they go through in carrying out these laws. And, you know, they pointed out, don't support a law if you don't know what impact it's having on people, if you haven't met the people. They're the ones who have to carry out the laws, and we really should learn about them. And these are some pictures. We could really use your support on Twitter. We used to tweet together in meetings because people don't have computers. People are experiencing homelessness, and we need everyone's support. So we used to tweet together in person at meetings. And Stephen talked about the bill. This is a Chicago 400 member with his son, and we have lots of fathers and single fathers working on this because they want to be able to live in the homes with their children. So the way that you can help, and this is a beautiful drawing, by the way, that Clifford did to show unity across registries and across homeless people on registries and non-homeless people on registries. But inviting Chicago 400 members to a presentation, becoming a partner, endorsing the bill, asking your legislator to meet with us, following us on Twitter, anything else your organization can think of. And finally, and I'll let Stephen talk about this, please use people first language. Do not use horrible and degrading labels when you speak about people with murder convictions, people with sex offense convictions, people with any kind of conviction. So thank you very much.
I think Terrence is in here now. You want to speak, sir? I let somebody in.
So, hello.
Go ahead, Stephen. I'm sorry.
Yeah. So, Lori Jo, can you pull up the map of with the red and green dots on it?
Yes, sir. Give me a sec.
Yeah. So the map that Lori Jo is about to put up. So all of the red dots on that map is places that people with crimes that have the restriction. Those are the places that they cannot live. So every red dot that you see on this this map is places that they cannot live. Every green dot on this map is places that people can live. If they cut the restriction laws down to the housing management laws down to 250 feet, you would see more green dots and you would see more stable and affordable housing where people can live at. This map is basically red, and the green dots are like on the outbanks of the city and then on the outbanks of the suburbs. So this is what we're talking about. We have nowhere, no space to even get someplace if we had an opportunity to, because the 500 feet, if we can cut it down to 250 feet, we have more green dots. It'd probably be even and stuff like that. But what I did want to say is that we just asking for support. If anybody got any questions, anything they want to know about the Chicago 400, or anything want to know about our bill, they can, like I said, they can email me, and they can email Lori Jo. I know Josh, you got my number. We just ask for support, and we would like to be a part of the CSAC community so that we can get more information, so that we can have resources for the people that we're serving. Thank you.
I'm thinking maybe in September, when we go back to a physical meeting and we're back at Above and Beyond, that could be one of the where we can actually be in the building. I think that'll be a good look, where you all can kind of be there physically, and you can break it down how you want to break it down, if that works. Because a lot of people who are coming through the doors of Above and Beyond some are impacted by these same situations as well. So, and a lot of people always sit in, and plus, with Stephen is a mover and a shaker. So once they know that, he's presenting, I'm just keeping it real, and they know he's presenting, that audience will actually get bigger, and, find out how we can make it 500, 600, 700, but not in that type of impact, but more of the support. So,
thank you.
I pretty much knew Terrence's phone was about to die because he was in the back of the car, and I'm like, uh-oh, he on his cell phone. So, does anybody have any questions for Lori Jo or for Stephen? Want to know how to get involved? You said Twitter. Can you put the Twitter link in the chat if you can, please? just so that we can, and then John had a question too. Hey, put your contact information. I can put her contact information in. I could actually, unless you want to do it yourself.
I can do it, sure.
Okay. So that's the Twitter handle right there. And then that's her email address, ljr@uic.edu.
That's the shortest email I got.
Yeah, that is the shortest, because I had to look at it when she first said it. I'm like, who is this? I don't know who this is.
There's other links in the chat if you want to look through them that give more details about the harm of the laws. And
can you also put the link to the website also?
Sure.
All right. So I know a lot of people already left. Some people had to join other meetings or what have you, but I do appreciate everybody for staying. You know, we always want to make sure that we are having an impactful conversation on how we can create change. And this is part of the process. There are no places for people with certain offenses to lay their heads. And I'm just looking at all those signatures and all those dates, and I'm just like, wow. And then looking at that line, and then just knowing if you've driven around the city, y'all know what tent city is. You know, there's a tent city in every part of the city. There's a tent city in every part of America, right? We just talking about Chicago 400, but just think about the homelessness and things that are going on just throughout this country. So it's a problem. And if we can, you know, solve it or come up with some type of solutions here, maybe it can become a model throughout the state and be a model throughout the world. Because, you know, sometimes I kind of look at life, you know, we feed people, me and Maria feed people every single Thursday, right? And you wonder, you know what I'm saying? Like, you know, everybody goes home, you lay your head, some of you are at home right now, you may have, like, life might not be what you wanted, but it is a life. You have a, you know, you're able to lay your head and kiss your loved ones and take up certain things that we take for granted, take a bath, take a shower, things like that. You know, we blessed. You know, it's something to really think about, because you always got to look at on the other side of that coin that there are, you know, people in our communities who don't have those rights. And as Maria say, I am not my record. You know what I'm saying? I am not my record. I should be able to go past that. So we have to change the laws first, where it should be on a case-by-case basis with a lot of this stuff. But also, we got to find ways so that people should be able to have housing. People should have the resources they need so that they can, you know, take their life to the next steps. So I applaud everybody. I applaud you all, especially you, Stephen, for, you know, having the courage to not only share your experience, but share your world with us and everybody on this call. So get connected, connect with people. You know, I know it's hard to do this on a streaming platform, but this is the way that we've done it for over a year now. And we've been able to connect and build relationships. I really appreciate all of you for being on this call. Our next meeting is going to be on August 20th. It'll be probably the last Zoom call. We'll still have Zoom option going into September, but we definitely want to get back to those physical meetings unless there's some type of pullback with this variant and all this other stuff. So hopefully everything is good. Everybody have a great weekend. Be safe, stay healthy as always. God bless you. And I thank you for always supporting the Community Support Advisory Council on the Westside. Have a good weekend. Enjoy yourself. And
Bye, everybody. Thank you. You too, Joseph. Great meeting.
Thank you,
Thank you, everybody.
Thank you.
Have a great weekend.
Okay, bye-bye.
Bye.